Hello everyone and good morning. My name is Amar Khan and I have been working for inline market for about 4 years, and in that time I've been working with different Azure services and the capacity of Azure Cloud Consultant and Infrastructure Architect. So today's webinar is about secure DevOps Kit for Azure subscriptions. So just to briefly go over the agenda, what we will discuss today is a short introduction to what is secure DevOps Kit. We will look at different areas and different tools and scripts that it provides. And then, since it would be more of a demo heavy webinar, so we will go through different things of how we can implement this in our Azure subscriptions and how we can use it to improve our security where the Azure services are concerned. So the demo would include how we can start Azure security hygiene for the Azure subscriptions, how we can set up continuous assurance for periodic scans and configure monitoring and alerting to inform us if there have been any security failures that might be important for us. So the first part we will look into secure DevOps Kit for Azure, or AzSK, is an open source toolkit. I would say a collection of scripts, modules, templates, extensions, plugins, and automation tools, which focuses on bringing security in your Azure subscriptions and Azure services. What actually it will do is provide your DevOps team with a security-focused development workflow, where, of course, the assumption that your engineering teams are working with Azure Cloud. To achieve this native security in your DevOps workflow, I mean Microsoft Core Services Engineering team who created this toolkit. They divide this kit in mainly 6 focus areas. So let's have a brief look at them before we dive into the demo. So as you can see on the screen, the first one is called Provision Security in Subscription, or Subscription Security, which is basically a package of scripts that you can use to kickstart your subscription security hygiene, as I mentioned before. What it does is figures out for you any configuration, provisioning, and administration control failures. It's basically like a health check for your subscriptions that looks for any misconfigurations and obsolete settings. What it mainly does, it checks for role-based access controls and permissions. If there are any alerts set for your important incidents or events, security incidents, and it also installs a bunch of different ARM policies with audit effect. So it actually audits those things that might be that might give you the idea what might be wrong with your subscription security. And then it also configures Azure Security Center. So if it's not currently configured or not correctly configured, it will make or fix those changes for you. And then moving on to secure development, the second focus area. It's for bringing security coding practices in your day-to-day development and coding. Similar to how we have like build verification tests, it provides a collection of test scripts or controls called security verification tests, or they say SVTs. for your Azure services. Lighthouse Subscription Security has a bunch of scripts to point out many misconfigurations and best practices. Security verification test covers more than 30 Azure services, and if I'm not wrong, it actually has more than 300 controls or checks for security hygiene of different Azure services. So for development work involving Azure services, we also have Visual Studio extension for security intelligence, which is again like intelligence in Visual Studio, which actually gives you assistance for fixing potential security issues while writing code. And now looking at the third focus area, deploy secure release from the SOP release pipeline. So basically, it is actually more applicable to Azure DevOps or Visual Studio Team Services for your CI/CD release extensions. So it's actually the same security verification test that I mentioned in the secure development part, but it gives you the tools and extension to add it into your build release pipeline with in your Azure DevOps or VSDS. So you can have an automated way for continuous deployments to secure continuous deployments to Azure. Then we have continuous assurance runbooks, the fourth focus area. Idea here is to set up an automation account that runs all the security controls and check on your subscription and services on periodic basis. So you can actually check for drift. For example, once the services are in production, it will help in seeing if there has been a change in security status for better or for worse. So again, you can see how much your security has drifted to make informed policy decisions. And the fifth focus area is log analytics for alerting and monitoring. So it actually it's where it creates logging and monitoring dashboard that shows security across different stages and different subscriptions that we have onboarded. I think it gives everyone very good visibility to organization security status using a single out-of-box monitoring dashboard and pre-configured and many pre-configured search queries in your in the log analytics workspace. And the last sixth focus area is cloud risk governance, which is in very basic and short sentence is basically all the telemetry of secure DevOps Kit usage rolled up, so you can identify trends in your security drifts and make decisions to help with improvements. So for the scope of this webinar, we will actually look at mainly focus area 1, focus area 2 minus security intelligence, which is and 4 and 5. So we can possibly look to cover this CI/CD build release extensions and cloud risk governance in future webinars. But based on the time, that hopefully we will be able to cover 1, 2, 4, 5 in the demo today. So let's get to the demo. So first we will look at what is provision security in subscription. So as I mentioned, that it's a collection of different scripts, tools, and everything. So here, everything is you would need to do it through PowerShell mainly. So these are one-line commands in PowerShell that you can start with to set up these things. So first, you would need to do is already install the AzSK module. So you would need to run this command in the, to install the Azure SK module. So once it's installed, you would need to import it. So if you're familiar with PowerShell, I think you get what I mean here. So let's look at the if you look at the number of commands that we have here for Azure AzSK. So once you download, you will see all of these different commands for AzSK. So for Azure subscription security, how we can start that? We can already start by just looking at the Azure subscription security status that we currently have. So the command we have here is called get AzSK subscription security status. So basically, it's a master script that checks all the different scripts in your Azure subscription to find out what are any misconfigurations and security failures or best practice recommendations. So we have this subscription that we provide here. So this is the subscription ID. So we will run this from here, and let's see what it does. So as you can see here, that it's now running it as in a generic organization neutral policy, and it's going to check different subscription core controls, such as minimize the number of admins, justify all identities. So it's running all of these different things to see what is currently lacking in our subscription. So now and then it outputs the file with the details. So let's go through it. So this is just the PowerShell output that we got here. So you get this in the text file and the environment details in the PowerShell environment that it has run. And this is the JSON file here, and then this is the name of our subscription. So here it actually outputs all the controls that it has run. So if you can see here that it has subscription, so it shows here what has passed. So this is more of a detailed description of everything that it has run and what has passed, I hope something has failed. Should have. There's this manual. Manual means that it actually could not verify itself if it has passed or not. So you would need to attest to that if it's something that that is correct in your subscription or not. And then there is something failed as well. So this is more of a detailed description of everything that it has run in the log file. And if we go back here, we also had one security report. So this is actually the summary of what we already saw in this note, in that text file. So here, if you see, it shows all the unique control IDs that it has run, the name that they have given to those controls, and it shows the status here. Let's filter it, and it shows the status here: verify, pass, failed. Shows the feature name that it has run. It also shows the severity of those controls: medium, high, low. And what else? And then it provides the description of what exactly is what it tries to do. What we can do here is check for failed controls. So let's see that here is a failed control. Azure Security Center must be configured on subscription. Here, this is something that we have not configured it yet on this test subscription. And then there are other failures that critical applications should be protected using resource lock ARM policies should be. Audit and stuff and alerts should be configured, and same for Azure Security Center. So what it does also, it also gives you this recommendation how to actually fix these. So either it would point out what commands that you can run to fix this, so which is pretty neat. And also, if it does not have specific commands or the security control that failed, or it's more of a best practice, so it would also give you the links to help you with what to do next, like here, that you can check out what if you want to have the standard tier. So what would be the pricing of it for Azure Security Center? So as we only ran the get is at AzSK security status, so it's more like a manual check on subscription. What we can do is also run this get is at AzSK. Sorry, should be set is at AzSK subscription security. And what it does is it would actually run and set all the different scripts, different subscripts, and it would set the subscription security for you with this command. So what it basically does is it mainly, like I mentioned, it mainly checks these 4 things. So what it does is run these 4 scripts, like set is at AzSK subscription RBAC, that alerts. I think the last one is that is sure security center policies. So this script basically runs all of these 4 things. So if you remember from our Excel that the most of the control failures were basically related to RBAC control, alert monitoring not being set up, alerts not being configured there, and security center not being set up. So we go back to this command and see what are the other things available here. So while setting it up, few of the mandatory parameters that we have is our security contact email, so who they should contact in case of. So basically, it's mainly for coming from the alerts, that alerts script, so they should send the alerts to. And then the phone number, random number here. And these are mainly, and also the target resource group. If you want to provide, if you want to just set it on a specific resource group, you can also do that. And also it has tags, so you also can set certain controls, and if you do not wish to set the others. So if you just run with the basic mandatory parameters, let's see, and then it will start setting the security for us on the subscription level. Yeah, so it creates this resource group, and it would also create the storage account where it would keep all the activity logs and all the scan results actually from these commands. So anytime actually you would even run this manual get Azure subscription status, it would also be logged into this storage account. So unfortunately, at this point in time, the name of the storage account is not really configurable. So we go with this one with the current date and timestamp. Okay, since we don't have certain resource providers configured on the subscription, so it's also is actually registering it, which is again it doesn't stops there and throws an error. It actually is able to fix it itself. So while this is being done, we can also have like the set command. If you can also have AzSK subscription security update command, and so if you want to change any of the values in this setup, you can change it. And similarly, the other ones like remove AzSK security. Okay, I think it's taking a bit longer to register. Yeah, while it's registering, I can also show you that while you run these get AzSK subscription security for the manual checks, you can also actually use this parameter get fix scripts. So you just need to provide this parameter, and once you run this, is what it will actually do. It will also generate the generate any of the fix scripts that can automatically fix any of the failing controls. So it would actually output output a folder here called fix scripts, which would be PowerShell scripts which you can just open and run to fix it. So of course, but it's always a good idea to first check what it is fixing. If it's something not you do not need to fix, then you can opt out from running those scripts. So it does not only provide you, but it does not only suggest you, but it also provides you with the fix scripts, which is really good in my opinion. So now you can see that that's running all of these commands. Again, this is setting up RBAC and set up security center policies here. And this command can take a bit of more time. But basically, once it sets, it would again generate the same output folder. You can also actually set the parameter of outputting to not output, to not open output folder parameter for it to not open it. So this way, once this command is completed, it would basically have all of these policies. This way, your Azure subscription security is set with just a simple one-line command. Now, since it may take some more time, we can check into the next part of it, which is security verification test. So like I mentioned, that the first part, like set Azure subscription security, security verification test. So the first part, like I mentioned, is actually more about the subscription security. The second is more about checking the Azure subscription, Azure Services Security. So the command that we have for this is AzSK. So it completed, like I mentioned, so it showed the detailed output from that. So now it has configured all of these. Okay, moving forward. So here's this next part. That's actually checking Azure. So in the Azure, you can check the Azure verification test using this command. So this would actually check the resources, security tests on the resources themselves. So here you have different parameters as resource group names. You can run it on specific resource groups. You can run it on resource type. So you can run on a specific resource, and you can also exclude things while running it. You can also define a specific control ID. You can filter text, exclude text. So if we can also run for specific severity, so you have lots of flexibility here. And then again, it also generates these generate fix script, and you can also, like I mentioned, exclude command. So if we actually look at running it, you can check the get AzSK supported resource type. So this command would actually give you all the resource types supports right now. Let's say we want to run it on resource type storage. So it will only run it on this storage. Why not have? It's the storage type. Because I need to provide the whole. Yeah, I could provide storage type name or the other. So now it's checking specifically for that storage, for any storages in our subscription. So now they have many different controls for these storages. Like I mentioned, over 300 verification tests that they have. So now it has again output this results in this report. So if you see here what has failed for us, in our storages, okay, so one of them has failed, which is that we have not enabled secure transfer protocol for our storages. So if I just run this command with the generate script, it also generate this fix script that we can run to fix this. So this basically, so in the CI/CD pipeline, once you have this as part of your development workflow, so that it can actually check all of these security things for you for each resource type. So now it has also generated this fix control script. So here's the fix script, which in our case should be of changing the HTTPS. If I run this, it should change it. So basically, this is all also configurable through this. So the main script and parameters are defined in this JSON file, so you can have a look and configure it. So it's reading everything from there. Now what it's doing is running fix. Azure subscription. Now it has asking for confirmation. And it has done the encryption transcript. So now if you run this, it should not be failing. For if you run this command, it should not be showing the failure for this script. This is pretty much it in this security verification. Says that you have many different ways of doing that. You have many different tests that you can run and include what you want based on your scenario. So for the next part of the demo, which is the continuous assurance runbook, so this is also again is part of this command. So here again we have one neat command to set this all up for us. Is AzSK continuous assurance. So what you need to provide here is Azure subscription ID, where you want to install this and set this, because what it does actually, it creates the automation account, it creates the Azure service principal, it creates another storage account if it's already not set, but in our case it's already created based on the set is AzSK subscription security. And it also so basically what it does, it provides the reader access to that service principal which it creates on your subscription, which would allow it to scan all the resources and your subscription using that automation account. So if you look what it actually needs, it's you can provide the idea is that you can have multiple subscriptions that you can check, so you can provide different multiple subscriptions here, subscription IDs here. So since we are planning to run it in this central scan mode, which means that our automation account would be only in this subscription, but it would target and collect the data from all the subscriptions. And then we also have automation location, account location, what we can provide here, and automation resource group name, where this automation resource group should go. If you don't provide it, that's okay as well, because it would create it itself. But what other things we need is logs ID, which is log analytics workspace ID, and log analytics shared key, which is actually the key from the workspace, so that it can connect to that workspace and send all that scan data which you would be able to run periodically to that workspace. So just to quickly go to our subscription, so I've already created one log analytics workspace for this demo. Go here, so it actually where you would find this key, I would just like to show because it's not that visible in the form. So this is for our workplace. You need to go to this advanced settings, and here is the log analytics workspace ID, and here is the workspace key, so that you can copy it here. And one more thing that you have here is you can check is scan interval in hours. So you can provide how often you want it to run this scan overall on your subscription. So since running this command, once you run this command, it would actually take more than 2 hours to set it up, and before that we cannot do anything. So I can already show you the current automation account and how it is in log analytics, because of course we don't have that much time for it to be finished. But few of the things that you need to check if it has run successfully is you need to make sure actually 4 things. You need to check that your automation account has created, of course, like here. So it would be the automation account name that you have provided. If not, it would also select a similar kind. You need to check if it has created the runbook. Connections that it has created this Azure Run as connection, which will be Azure Service Principal. Also, you need to check if because as part of this Azure is that AzSK continuous assurance, it downloads AzSK modules in this automation account that it creates. So what you need to do is actually, this is where it takes most of the time, more than 2 hours to set this up. So you need to check that all of these are available and not pending before you can further verify that if it works or not. And if it's not, do not update it from here because it would break it. So you would need to reinstall it and wait for further 2 hours. So how does it do, and what else you can do is actually to go to your log analytics workspace and check in the logs. Once it has run the initial scan, it should be sending you, all the data into this log analytics workspace. Simple. Ours don't run that often. Yeah. I don't know if there's something wrong. Query that I'm trying to write here, but anyway, it would show you here in your logs. So actually, you can just put a simple command as well. So here it should show you that if it has been coming, because then it's reading it from the storage account that it creates. So here it would be showing you all of this information. That all of the logging in the controls that it has. So this is what this continuous assurance runbook sets up. So it would set up in like I mentioned, the automation account, the log analytics works with it. You set so that it would set up this scan interval. So if you want to change in the automation account scan interval afterwards, you can do that as well. If you're familiar with automation account, you can do that from the schedules. So this is the schedule that it creates, which would make this automation runbook run based on for us it's every 24 hours here set as well in this subscription. And yeah, so this is the main automation runbook which it creates, which runs all the security subscriptions checks and security verification checks for all your Azure service. So the next part is where and how do we see all of these things in one single dashboard, and where we can have the better understanding of what it is going. Of course, we can use the log analytics workspace to query it, but that would require us to really be proficient in this query language of Azure Analytics, logging in Azure. And so we can start with this fourth part for monitoring. So basically, this they also have this command for setting up a nice dashboard. As I mentioned, it sets up the dashboard and different alerts for us to have the combined data about all the security checks it has done. So this is the command that you can use to run this. This command also requires us to provide the subscription ID of where our log analytics workspace. In our case, it would be the same one that we have created it. We have used it here, and then resource group. You would need to provide where this log analytics workspace is, and the key of the log analytics workspace. I'm sorry, this should be subscription ID here, and this is loss ID, which should be, yeah. And you can also provide the view name. This could be any name that you want to give this to view. So again, based on the time available to us, I had already created this. So once you run this command, it would create the sorry, it would create the nice dashboard in your log analytics workspace. So let's have a look what it looks like. So we will go to the workspace. So this is the one that we have the dashboard, that we have to install the monitoring dashboard on. So you go to workspace summary, and here it provides you this Azure security view. That's just the name that I had said, but yeah, this is pretty much what it is. And as you can see here now, it provides, since we only had one subscription. So, but if you are running in, if you had run in central scan mode and you had multiple target subscription, they would all be appearing here. And this one has so here it shows subscription status. We don't have any express root network in this subscription, and then we have, so then it also shows it per resource group, which is again coming from the security verification test, and also has per security issue. I didn't go there yet. Let's go back to that. And also unique security issues per resource group. So it also shows you this. I don't know what these errors are. I will look at them later. And then security failures across all resources. So these are all pre-configured queries that they have created here. They have few useful queries here as well. And you can read all about it, how to use this view in the best way. You can also add your own tiles here, and based on the queries that you set. So if we go to, say, if you go here, it would show you the same subscription security results here. And these are the same that it has outputted. But the idea here is that you are able to run it it runs periodically, and then you are able to check how much it has improved or it has gone worse. Here it shows these, and then you can change these queries to filter it further if you want, or change it to filter it to something else. So this actually has the same information and actually more what it has provided it to us in the security control summary. This Excel that I showed to you earlier. So here, similarly, we also have this analytics for storage type. Okay, so this is how it is, which is pretty good. Now, if I what you can also do is basically set alerts. Like I mentioned, that you can also set alerts on these things where let's suppose a certain storage account is any resource type. This is more important to you, and you need to see that none of the controls are failing on this, and this scan runs periodically, and whenever it fails, you want to be notified if it has. So you may have some custom query that you want to put it on to check for certain fields or filter that allows you to have any of these alerts sent to you. So what we can do here, if we look at the basic query, let's check that alert here. So what we will do, we will check for any storage resource type where the control severity is high and your control status is failed. And what we want to do is actually check if ever the count goes above 0. So if I run this query, let's see. So yeah, so in our case, there is a count more than 2. So what you can do is actually set a new alert rule from here on this query. And because you need to select a create action group where you want to send the email, alert rule name, and that. But what we are looking for here is the condition. So what we wanted to do is, so now here it already uploaded this search query. Copied this search query here. So what we want to do is basically check, let's say, if count is ever more than 0, send us this alert to certain email. So this way you can set the alerts on the from your monitoring dashboard. This was just one quick example, and also what you can do is actually export this search query to and the results to the CSV column, the CSV file, or actually also this to Power BI, where you can further enhance this dashboard and based on how you want to display it, if you want to take it to Power BI to be accessible to different audiences. Yeah, and so this is pretty much it for this demo. I hope that we did not cover too much, and everyone was able to understand what I was trying to show you. But if you have any questions, please do ask me and send me an email or contact me, and I would be happy to answer them. And hope you enjoyed the demo, and if you have any comments about it, or in the future if you want to see further about this topic or any other Azure topic, to let us know. Thank you.